The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People is an American civil rights organization formed in 1909 as an interracial endeavor to advance justice for African Americans by a group including W.E.B. Du Bois, Mary White Ovington, Ida B. Wells, and Henry Moskowitz. The Milwaukee branch was established in 1924 and is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. It's been on the front lines of the struggle for integrated schools and open housing. We're joined now by Clarence P. Nicholas, the president of the Milwaukee branch of the NAACP. Mr. Nicholas, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So from your perspective, talk about what the NAACP has meant and done for the struggle and advancement of Black people, both locally and nationally.
Well, for instance, if we go to nationally, we go to the 1954 Brown versus Board of Education and how the NAACP worked to integrate or desegregate the schools. Nonetheless, here in Milwaukee, Brown has not been overturned, and we have what is called a de facto segregated school system.
So talk about what Milwaukee has done, though, the Milwaukee branch. How has the Milwaukee branch contributed to the national struggle?
So the Milwaukee branch mission is the same as the national mission. In order to have what is called a healthy society, you must have equity in education, employment, housing, health care, and social justice. So the NAACP Milwaukee fights for those areas likewise, because we like to see a healthy Milwaukee.
All right, so talk about now 100 years of the NAACP. Why is the NAACP still relevant today?
Well, you know that discrimination, prejudice, as well as biasness in employment, education, housing, healthcare, and social justice is prevalent and is still being fought for. So we're looking to assist individuals who come into our office with complaints in those areas.
So talk about that then. What are some of the major priorities of the organization, nationally and locally, like you were mentioning?
Of course, you know, voting is one of the priorities. At this time, the priority. And then, of course, we're looking at equality as in terms of trying to make health care, education, housing, and social justice more prevalent for African Americans and people of color.
You talked about voting and something that is really important, especially this time of year. So what are some of those efforts that the NAACP, particularly here in Milwaukee, is taking on to make sure that everyone has that access and that, that support is being felt in the Black community here?
Now, the National sends us funding so that we can get out, canvas. We use what is called a van. A van has people, addresses, emails, phone numbers, and also have information whether or not they're registered voters. So we can look at the van and call people, email people, and ask them to register. And many of us are registrars.
Nice. So talk about how this organization plans to sustain perhaps another 100 years in serving Black people in the struggle and the advancement.
It's interesting. It requires volunteerism. For instance, at our branch, Milwaukee branch, we have one paid staff person. That's our office manager. Everyone else volunteers. And there are over 24 standing committees, like the Education Committee, Housing Committee, Freedom Fund Dinner Committee, for that matter. And everyone volunteers because they want to give something back to the community or to our people that's in need.
So talk about the Freedom Fund Dinner. You were talking about it earlier. You mentioned it a few times, but what are some of the details around that and how does it help specifically in what the NAACP is doing?
Well, this year we're blessed. For instance, we were told about this German word, Zeitgeist. It's the spirit of the times. In the spirit of the times, we're looking at voting, as we talked about, and we're looking at Kamala Harris, perhaps, as our next president, first female president. Now, we were visited by her brother-in-law, Tony West. He's an attorney for her campaign. And he came in to talk to us about what were some of the things we could do as far as canvassing, reaching those that are marginal voters. But on the other hand, when we look at the Freedom Fund Dinner, We're being blessed this year because we have Hakeem Jeffries, who is the House Speaker, Minority Speaker for Congress of the United States. Knowing that it's marginal in terms of what we have to put out funds to get him here, we'll have something to sustain us for another year because we're the only branch in the state of Wisconsin with an office.
All right, and just really quickly, if people want to learn more, volunteer, where can they find more information?
They can find information on our website, which is NAACPMKE.org. That's our website. Then they can also email the office, NAACPMKEORG@gmail.com, or call us, 414-562-1000.
Mr. Nicholas, thank you so much for being here on Black Nouveau.